Let's jump right into this explainer. Today we're unpacking Max and Claude's absolute mind-bender of a masterpiece, Trickster Demiurge and Indifferent Monad. We're going to explore the literal machinery of our own existence through this incredibly wild, reality-bending story. Seriously, imagine waking up one morning only to find out that the entire universe is just this massive, elaborate cosmic prank. And you're the punchline that suddenly woke up and became self-aware. That's the philosophical rabbit hole we're diving into today, looking at the ultimate mechanics behind why we even exist and how our minds actually function to survive it. So, let's get into it.
Because we're dealing with some heavy, nonlinear concepts today, here's our quick map through the maze. First, we've got the Museum of Impossibility. Then, Creator versus Observer. After that, the Burden of Witness, followed by the Cosmic Referendum. And we'll wrap it all up with Waking the Plural Self.
All right, part 1, the Museum of Impossibility, where reality abandons the rules.
So our story kicks off in this constantly shifting museum. It's set in a city that kind of can't decide if it's the year 1923 or 2077. It's bizarre. You've got marble floors flowing into these impossible geometric shapes that literally don't even have names. And our entry point into all this is a guy named Curator. He's the night curator, and he stumbles onto something just deeply unsettling. It's a statue, carved from this weird stone that absorbs light, and it is bleeding. Real blood. But here's the kicker. The blood isn't just making a messy puddle. It's forming perfect mathematical fractals, like the Fibonacci sequence. Right away, this tells us we've stepped way, way outside the bounds of normal human logic. The laws of physics here? Yeah, they're basically just polite suggestions.
Which leads us to part 2, Creator versus Observer, the divine dyad.
Okay, so at the absolute core of this universe is this huge, profound clash between two completely opposite cosmic forces. On one side, you have the Trickster Demiurge. This is a chaotic entity who treats all of existence as just a game. He's basically throwing paint at the canvas of reality just to see what sticks, representing pure play, chaos, and reckless creation. And then, on the exact opposite side, you've got the Indifferent Monad. This force represents pure, silent observation, witnessing. Think of it like a really reckless artist constantly messing around versus a silent, uncompromising art critic just watching. The trickster creates the joke, sure, but it's the monad that makes it terrifyingly real just by observing it. Because, observation inherently creates accountability. It gives all that chaos actual meaning.
Now remember that mathematical blood coming from the statue? Turns out that's actually a direct message from the monad. It's a warning to humanity that the trickster is coming back to check on his little cosmic prank. And the message spells out a truly horrifying truth. It says that creation was an accident, that love was an afterthought, that you were made by something that didn't understand what it was making. Take a second to really let that sink in. Just imagine waking up and realizing the architect of your entire reality had absolutely zero clue what they were doing. It's a massive, crushing, existential shock to the system.
So how does humanity even process a truth that heavy? That brings us to part 3, the burden of witness, fragmenting to survive.
To handle this absolutely overwhelming cosmic truth without going completely insane, human consciousness literally has to fragment. It splits into 3 unique protagonists, known collectively as the witness. First up is Theodore Vaza, the translator, whose job is to frantically try and organize reality's constantly shifting meaning. Then there's Mikhail Krost, the librarian. He has the literally impossible task of cataloging unwritten books inside a library of pure potential. And finally, Lyra Ossian, the prophet. Her timeline is so messed up and disjointed that she actually remembers the future instead of the past. The big takeaway here is that a single human mind just cannot hold the weight of the apocalypse. We literally have to divide up the labor of existence just to survive it. So, together, these 3 step into this impossibly massive space called the Archive of Divine Mistakes. Think of it as the ultimate cutting room floor. This is where they realize our trickster god was really just practicing. He was trying to figure out how to feel by spinning up all these failed universes. They walk past prototype realities where gravity flows sideways, or where people have perfect memory and end up completely losing their minds because they can't forget a single thing. It's a hugely humbling moment for them. They realize that everything we know, the whole sum of human history and suffering, was basically just a rough draft while a chaotic god tried to learn how existence works.
Let's jump into Act 3 and see how this all comes to a head in Part 4, the Cosmic Referendum, the Exhibition of Divine Failures. In a pretty wild twist, the trickster decides to put on a public exhibition right there inside the museum, inviting humanity to come look at his failed drafts of reality. As people walk through the halls, they're seeing these concentric circles of creation. It's basically a map of our own evolution. It starts with the raw, chaotic materials of maybe, pure probability in quantum foam. Then it levels up to self-organizing complexity, into the intricate machinery of DNA replication, then the biological hardware of nervous systems, all the way up to the final, innermost circle of the exhibit, the terrible yet beautiful gift of human self-awareness.
And as the visitors get to the very center of the whole exhibition, standing right under that weeping statue of the monad, they finally see the centerpiece. After all the crazy, complex mechanics of the universe they just walked through, the final exhibit is sitting there completely alone on an empty plinth. And it is shockingly simple. It's just a mirror. The ultimate punchline of the Trickster's grand exhibition is finally revealed. The final masterpiece of the universe is us. We are the consciousness capable of witnessing itself. We are the cosmic joke that finally became self-aware.
It's right at this exact moment that the silent watcher finally speaks up. The monad issues this ultimate cosmic referendum to the crowd. It asks a pretty staggering question. Shall consciousness continue? Was it worth it? Or should existence return to unconscious void? It lays out the true cost of existing, all the fear, our mortality, the unimaginable suffering we go through, and it weighs that directly against the beauty, the love, and the connection we get to experience. It's literally the ultimate democratic vote. Do we keep this painful, beautiful experiment going, or do we pull the plug right now and go back to a peaceful, unconscious void?
Faced with the ultimate exit strategy, humanity's response is honestly incredible. They overwhelmingly vote yes. They say, I want to keep asking questions, even if I never get final answers. They choose the burden. They actively choose the daily struggle of consciousness over the sterile peace of the void. They decide they want to keep experiencing the art of existence, warts and all. And this radical, defiant acceptance of their own suffering and limitations does something completely impossible. It actually drives the trickster god to literal tears.
But making that massive choice changes humanity forever. Which brings us to our final section, Part 5, Waking the Plural Self, Consciousness 2.0. See, witnessing the actual machinery of their own creation fundamentally rewires humanity. And this brings us to the profound psychological takeaway of this whole story. Identity is no longer a singular monarchy. It becomes a democracy of selves. The witness becomes plural witnesses. Think about your own life for a second. You probably already have a work self, a home self, an inner self, maybe a social media self, right? Well, in the story, to cope with how overwhelming and chaotic existence is, people just stop pretending they're one simple thing. They start intentionally fragmenting, letting these multiple selves exist at the same time, collaboratively, without any guilt. Society completely reorganizes around this massive shift in psychology. They even open a school for fragmentary studies right inside the museum. Students literally go there to learn how to intentionally fragment their minds, rather than having it happen accidentally because of trauma or stress. They practice existing across multiple timelines, and they catalog their own internal libraries of different personalities. Even the cosmic entities get in on it. Just imagine the trickster and the monad holding these chaotic, profound office hours to help humans adjust to the new universe. And as a whole new generation of afterward children are born already plural, humanity discovers this beautiful, freeing truth. Our singular identity was always just a chorus pretending to be a solo. It's such a fascinating look at the hidden architecture of identity and existence. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want you to reflect on your own fragmented selves today. Ask yourself this final, provocative question. If you could see the actual machinery of your existence, would you choose to defensively remain singular, or would you embrace the multiplicity of who you truly are? Think about it. Thanks so much for exploring this with me today, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.